The FPS genre in gaming is a lot more than just Call of Duty and Battlefield. Although you'd be forgiven for not thinking that in regards to the AAA sector, there's lots of great FPS games in the pipeline, and in today's video, we're going to go over what I think are the 20 main ones that you should be setting your money aside for. Now, this video is going to cover the whole spectrum of FPS games, so make sure to stick around because no matter what subgenre of FPS you're into, I'm sure there's going to be at least a few games on this list that you would be interested in getting. And also, guys, I want to ask a huge favor. If you watch the channel for Call of Duty, do me a favor, drop a like and leave a comment on this. We're going to be adding other type of gaming top 10s and 20s to the list, but don't worry, Call of Duty is here to stay. At number 20, Hell Let Loose Vietnam. Now, you've probably seen a lot of people participating in the playtest for this, and the full release, I think it's just a few days away by the time you're actually seeing this video. The first Hell Let Loose was an extremely immersive and well-received World War II game, and now the sequel, set in Vietnam, it's here. It brings that same kind of intensity, that same tactical FPS action to the unpredictable battlefields of the Vietnam War. The game is set to launch on August 13th on PC and consoles, and yes, it will feature crossplay between all platforms, which that's a big deal. Definitely keep your eye on this one if you're looking for a new PvP shooter set in a conflict that we really don't have a lot of video games about. At number 19, Agent 64, Spies Never Die. Retro FPS, inspired by the Nintendo 64 era of gaming. I'm smiling about this one. Probably one of the coolest shooters you're going to play. The graphics are super old school, and they do an amazing job of recreating the vibe of games like GoldenEye 007 and Perfect Dark, and you can actually play the demo right now on Steam for free if you want to give it a go. I mean, this is another one that's right around the corner. Currently scheduled for launch on August 11th, so if you're looking for an awesome spy-themed nostalgia trip, keep your eye on Agent 44 Spies Never Die. Moving right along, Ringworm. Set for release in 2027, it describes itself as an immersive action horror game with survival elements, and the name is weird. You get to explore a non-linear, interconnected world, and that's all while you slay monsters and avoid diseases. The art style kind of reminds me of Dusk. I get the feeling that this is going to be one of those standout indie FPS games of next year. You can wishlist it on Steam. You can be notified when there's more information or possibly even a demo comes out because I think this one's going to be a very unique experience that I'm hoping will scratch a lot of different itches. At number 17, Modern Warfare 4. After Infinity Ward effectively pushed away their entire core audience with Modern Warfare 2019 and Modern Warfare 2, they have a lot to prove. MW4 is shaping up to kind of be the middle point between Infinity Ward's last couple Modern Warfare games, but it remains to be seen if the COD community is actually going to forgive them for the damage they've done, or if they'll even care about it, given that the classic COD ports of Black Ops 1 and 2 are cranking right now. I mean, they're doing far better than any mainline COD game right now. There's a good chance Activision just leaves Modern Warfare 4 to rot while they continue milking the COD Golden Age. And since we're on that topic, at number 16, World at War on the PS5, and you're saying, Jimmy, what? This has been leaked. I think this is the next classic COD game that is getting a PS5 port, and I'm here for it. World at War is one of the best World War II FPS games of all time. I mean, it's raw, immersive, stripped-back multiplayer. I think this is going to do amazing things for the COD community. I do. With how overcomplicated Call of Duty has gotten, I think this is going to be very good for both the community and the developers to remember where things first started. At number 15, Rules of Engagement, the Gray State. Now, extraction shooters, they're still pretty popular right now. Might want to dismiss yet another one, but Rules of Engagement actually looks like it's going to be a truly unique take on the genre. Horror-infused extraction shooter where you and two players squad up, you fight monsters, you take down other squads, and you venture into what is known as the Gray State, which is an unstable dimension filled with alien artifacts. So the goal here is to retrieve artifacts, keep yourself in one piece, which is going to be pretty hard to do with all the monsters and enemy players running around. It actually looks fun to me. I'm going to give it a try when it launches. There's no release date on it yet, but with the amount of gameplay that's been released already and the dev updates that we're getting on the Steam page, I really don't think we're going to have to wait very long before we get a public beta. At number 14, Alien Deathstorm. What a name, right? You probably got a few YouTube ads for this game over the last couple weeks, and while some people wrote it off as this generic type game, other people like myself, I think it looks interesting. Sometimes the most fun FPS games are the ones that appear straightforward on the surface. Now, very little is known about the exact story of Alien Deathstorm, but we do know you're going to be in the remains of an off-world colony that is now overrun by hostile aliens, and the aliens, they look pretty freaky. And we do know it's being developed by Rebellion. That's the same team that made Alien vs. Predator FPS games a long, long time ago, as well as Sniper Elite and Zombie Army games. So I think we're in good hands for a horror sci-fi FPS experience here. At number 13, Modern Warfare 3 Remastered. And you're saying, Jimmy, what are you talking about again? We made a video about this the other day on this channel, and it's actually starting to look like the once canceled remaster of classic MW3 is actually going to be released at some point after Modern Warfare 4. The writing is on the wall here. And well, it's on the wall that Modern Warfare 4 could be dead on arrival. And there is a mountain of leaks proving that MW3 Remastered was finished and then never released. And on top of that, Activision is now banking on nostalgia to sell Call of Duty to the modern gaming community. So you mix all those things together, and it looks pretty clear to me that Modern Warfare 3 Remastered is finally going to see the light of day in the very near future. I'll be there for day one. At number 12, Guns and Goblins, not to be mistaken with Ghosts and Goblins. Another game with a demo you can download and play right now on Steam if you want to for free. It's a horde survival FPS. You drop into a huge map, giant waves of enemies. You shred through as many as humanly possible before you find new weapons, you upgrade your arsenal, and then you do it over and over again. But it's all with a unique medieval pixel art presentation. This is a cool game. It's worth a shot if you have a couple hours to kill on the demo. The full release is set to be out in the first half of 2027. This next one's been a long time coming. Arma 4. Arma 3 launched, I think, back in 2013? What was that, 13 years ago? It was the gold standard for military sandbox games. The Arma franchise in general has been a playground for people who want to role play, get in insane fights, create their own games out of tools. Heck, you more or less have Arma to blame for the first Battle Royale games. And now the long-awaited follow-up, Arma 4. It's coming, allegedly. It was announced a while ago, and updates have been slow, but we have been hearing whispers about it finally nearing the end of development and launching next year, possibly even for consoles alongside the expected PC version. Keep your ear to the ground for this one, or watch this channel. I mean, when new Arma 4 news drops, it's going to be a big deal on the PC. It really, really is. Now we arrive at the top 10. Last Harbor. Let me ask you something. What would happen if you were on a boat in the Pacific Northwest when the zombie apocalypse happened? Well, that's the premise of Last Harbor. It's a first-person zombie survival exploration shooter where you have to venture around the San Juan Islands of Washington State after you survive the zombie apocalypse by being at sea when everything went to crap. So you get to use your boat as your home base since you're safe in the water, but eventually you have to venture to dry land and explore the forest of Washington to hunt for supplies, scavenge food without being ripped open by the undead. This is a super cool, unique premise for a zombie game. I don't get excited for zombie games anymore. They're completely, it's just fatigue. But this, your home base is a boat until you decide to come to land. I'm excited about this one. At number 9, speaking of FPS games with unique premises, Twisted Tower. This is going to have you try to shoot your way through an abandoned 1950s theme park that's been pretty clearly taken over by dark magic or something, because it's got monsters, it's got evil mascots, it's got creepy clowns, and you'll have to somehow get through all the haunted houses and the disturbing dark ride tracks to make it out. This is being published by 3D Realms. They have a solid track record with low-budget FPS games, and it's supposed to come out August 18th, so keep your eye on the Steam page right after you watch this video. I have a feeling this one may go viral actually when it drops, because it looks creepy and it looks fun. It looks like it's a blend of exciting action, terrifying atmosphere, and disturbing enemies, and if they actually knock that out of the park, I think it could go viral. At number 8, Battlefield 7. To be fair, this game has not been announced, but I did want to put it here because we all know it's coming. Battlefield 6 was a good success, right? I mean, it's been experiencing intense player fall off due to the post-poor release handling of it, but I guess we could call it a success. EA made it clear they're trying to revive Battlefield as an ongoing franchise, and one of the ways they're trying to do that is with consistent new entries in the series. So Battlefield 6 is coming up on its 1-year anniversary, so I don't think we're going to wait much longer to know exactly what to expect from BF7. Are we going to go back to World War II? Are we going to go back to the future like the extremely underrated Battlefield 2142? Hopefully, we're going to learn something pretty soon. At number 7, Dude Simulator, My Apologies. This is definitely going to take the cake for the goofiest game on today's list, and it's an open-world sandbox game with a lot of guns, a lot of action, and you're playing as a random guy whose friends get arrested, and now you have to go travel to a new city to save him and encounter a bunch of weird NPCs and obstacles along the way. Honestly, it kind of reminds me of a more toned-down version of Postal 2, if you guys remember Postal 2, where you could, like, pee on the cat or whatever. Anyway, this has you venturing around, and you're kind of doing whatever comes natural before an obvious objective or an enemy pops up. So, a fun blend of goofy simulator, first-person shooter. I mean, I'm down. It's got the best title on this list. Dude Simulator, My Apologies. that wins. At number 6, Protocol Terminate. We went from the best title to the most generic. This one looks creepy. Co-op survival horror FPS. You face off against an AI that actually learns from your actions. So the more you play the game, the smarter the AI gets, and the more it adapts to you specifically and sets traps for you, anticipates your movements, manipulates you. You have to work with your partner and be very smart about how you're approaching the situation, because if you start developing any kind of behavior pattern or any kind of consistent strategy, you're going to get punished. And on top of that, the art style and the atmosphere kind of reminds me of Doom 3, which I think is an added bonus because Doom 3, to me, was super underrated. Now we arrive at the top 5. The Defiant. Here is a World War II game that is actually focusing on a part of the conflict that very rarely ever gets shown in games or in movies, the Chinese front. Ultra immersive FPS. It's going to focus on the less romanticized front of the Second World War and give some unique perspectives on the conflict while also featuring some pretty extremely tense battlefield gameplay and gorgeous visuals. We don't have a lot of information right now, but I'm sold on it. I'm sold on it just from the premise and the idea. When is the last time we had a World War II game that actually focused on this region of the conflict? I honestly can't name one. At number 4, Gallipoli. Now, there aren't a ton of large-scale World War I games out there, but I think that's about to change with this game. Massive, massive online FPS simulation game. It's going to launch in a couple weeks on PC and console with full crossplay. Lots of content's been confirmed. The class and weapon systems are deep and should be addicting. And it looks like the game that Battlefield 1 fans have been waiting for a decade. This is, when I say large scale, it's large. It's World War I, but it's also sped up and made a tad more video gamey, I guess you could say, to make it more unique and addicting and make it immersive, but still for everybody's cup of tea. Check it out. At number 3, Metro 2039. This was an announcement that I really wasn't expecting to see a few months ago, but Metros are cool. Metro games are cool. The Metro series is cool. It is. I mean, immersive, atmospheric, slightly creepy FPS games, but the third most recent game, Exodus, was criticized for, I guess, being more straightforward as an open world shooter and less of a claustrophobic borderline horror experience like the first 2 games, which I think a lot of people liked. Well, here comes Metro 2039. It's going right back to the borderline horror roots, which means the devs are listening, and the devs are claiming this will be the darkest Metro game to date and that the level design will be much more focused on tight, confined spaces versus the large outdoor areas of Metro Exodus. This is exactly what most people are hoping for in a 4th Metro game, and I'm pretty excited to get my hands on this, and I know the Metro community is definitely hyped up and on the hype train for this one. At number 2, Guns of Isation? I hope I said that right. I mean, we don't nearly have enough Wild West FPS games, but here comes the Guns of E. I'll just do that. And it's going to throw its hat in the ring, but it's going to give us a pretty unique experience. So it's being led by the legendary art director behind Half-Life 2, Dishonored, and Wolfenstein: The New Order. Gameplay will be a first-person Souls-like set in an apocalyptic, supernatural version of the Wild West. I mean, the gameplay looks crazy. You see it on the screen. There's even going to be an option to play it in co-op with your friends. So it's a gunslinging Wild West Souls-like FPS game with one of the best gaming art directors ever putting gaming on the team. Sign me up. I'm going to give it a try. And at number 1 today, I think the most anticipated, or I think what you should consider the most anticipated FPS game coming up to save your money for, is Sin Reloaded. Might be a weird pick for the top of the list, but I'm actually excited for this game, especially since it's been delayed for something like 5 years at this point. I have no idea why. The original Sin game was released in 1998, widely seen as one of the best FPS titles of that entire era, although its original release was largely overshadowed by the original Half-Life, which came out very close to it. Since then, Sin became a cult classic, and a remaster was announced all the way back in 2020 with an original release date in 2021, but then it was pushed all the way back to 2026. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Sin Reloaded is finally almost here. And I cannot wait for the whole new generation of FPS fans to get to experience what I consider a criminally underrated game from the era of gaming where every studio was trying to find new ways to push the Quake 2 engine to its limits. Yes, it's not as good as Half-Life. It doesn't matter. Nothing from that era was. Sin Reloaded. Keep your eyes out for it. There you go. If you have any other FPS games that are on the horizon that you want to share with the comment section, let us know. I'll see you soon.